Y'all, Diddy's not going to make it. 2025, he's going to be out of here. They are telling me that he is in general population and he has been sliced and diced over 33 times. I got a video. Y'all have to watch this. You know, Diddy is gone. After people heard about Diddy having all these kids, people want to know where the kids at, Diddy, and doing all this stuff to kids and a 13-year-old. You know, people in jail, they do not play when it comes to men that's trying to touch and be with under, 12, 13-year-old kids. They don't play about that. So Diddy, he had it coming. I'm surprised it took him that long. I want you guys to watch this video. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe here at the Messy Sweet Spot. Let's see what's going on.
We have a video tonight of a jail fight that ended with a guard being taken to the hospital. It happened earlier this month at the Metropolitan Detention Center. You can see a group of inmates gathered in the day room when inmates begin to fight. When the camera moves back, some inmates start scattering as others continue to fight. Guards rush in to try to break up the fight. That night, our cameras caught one of the guards being loaded up into an ambulance. Here that video is. Video later shows a line of inmates all in handcuffs against the wall. No word on if any of them were charged or what kind of injuries the guard had.
Y'all won't believe what's happening in the dark and dangerous underworld of the Metropolitan Detention Center. Even the mightiest stars can fall from grace. And darlings, Diddy never saw this storm coming. Can you believe the tea we're getting about his New Year's Jailhouse meltdown? The drama is absolutely scorching. Just imagine, this is how the once mighty mogul is spending his first holiday season behind bars. And get this, there's even more juice about one of his accusers being allowed to stay anonymous. By now, everyone and their mother knows that our 55-year-old former king, Sean P. Diddy Combs, is cooling his heels in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center. Honey, the charges are absolutely shocking. We're talking federal charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation for prostitution. Let's just take a moment to process this. Sean Diddy Combs. That name used to be pure gold, darling. It spelled unstoppable success, untouchable influence, and a life so luxurious it made your head spin. Beverly Hills mansions, private jets that would make a billionaire blush, and parties that cost more than most people's houses. But now, oh, how the mighty have fallen. The man who once proclaimed himself king of the world is reportedly shaking in his boots, fearing for his very life.
He let that money, power, and respect go to his head, but he had it ass back. So do I care what happened? Nah. He got enough money to buy his way out of this. So we think.
So when you look at that video of him pacing around and he's looking worried, and you knowing him, do you think it's possible that he might commit some?
When you're a narcissist, there's always a possibility because you're suffering. But I don't think that he can see himself in a cage. I don't think he can see himself behind those bars in those type of situations. It's too many real dudes that dislike him. But then again, there's a lot of real dudes that need help. And him being behind bars, he could probably help him.
Now grab your seats, because this is where it gets absolutely wild. How did our entertainment powerhouse, this titan of music, fashion, and culture, end up in Brooklyn's notorious Metropolitan Detention Center? And trust me, sweeties, when I say notorious, I mean it's being called a living nightmare. But the real tea? What about this alleged beatdown that has social media absolutely exploding with theories? Can you believe it's been nearly a month since they slapped those handcuffs on P. Diddy? 30 whole days in one of America's most infamous jails. Everyone's dying to know, is our Grammy-winning superstar getting the VIP treatment? And darling, the whispers about his fears are absolutely chilling. They're saying he's terrified someone might attack him or even poison his food. Let's rewind this scandalous tape, shall we? Sean Combs wasn't just any celebrity. He was a cultural revolution in designer shoes. From producing chart-topping hits to completely transforming hip-hop fashion with his Sean John line, Diddy built himself an empire that seemed absolutely bulletproof. Bad Boy Records? Honey, it wasn't just a record label. It was a hit-making factory that churned turned out legends. But, oh, the skeletons in this closet go way back to the 1990s, when our man first rose to fame. After creating Bad Boy Records and signing icons like the Notorious B.I.G., rest his soul, Diddy's star was shooting straight to the heavens. But beneath all that glitter and glamour, that's where our story takes a dark turn. Multiple women have come forward claiming sexual assault in New York during this period. The bomb really dropped in November last year when Joy Dickerson Neal and Liza Gardner filed separate civil suits. Gardner's story will make your blood run cold. She claims it happened in 1990 at a work event, alleging Diddy assaulted her and choked her until she lost consciousness. And just when you think it couldn't get more horrifying, in 1991, Joy Dickerson Neal, then a Syracuse University student, alleges Diddy not only assaulted her but recorded it and, prepare yourself, shared the tape with others.
Allegations against the rapper began to pile up in 2023, with his ex-partner and R&B singer, Cassie, aka Cassandra Ventura, filing a lawsuit on November 16th alleging she was sexually assaulted and beaten throughout the course of their relationship. The case was settled a day after the lawsuit was filed, but it prompted multiple other people to come forward with similar claims of alleged misconduct from Combs. Combs was hit with another lawsuit on November 23 of 2023, with Joy Dickerson Neal alleging she was drugged and sexually assaulted by Combs while attending college in 1991. Then, on the 26th of February 2024, in New York, Diddy's producer, Rodney Little Rod Jones, alleged the media mogul and his associates subjected him to unwanted sexual advances and forced him into relations with hired sex workers, all while working for Combs between September of 2022 and November of 2023. Little Rod also alleged that Diddy regularly hosted, quote, sex trafficking parties with underage women. 1 month after Little Rod's lawsuit, the feds made their move.
2 homes owned by rapper P. Diddy in the United States have been raided as part of an investigation into sex trafficking.
Now, darling, of course, Diddy isn't taking this lying down. He's calling every single allegation baseless and has assembled a legal dream team that would make Hollywood jealous.
Get it. Extra has obtained the new 31-page document Diddy's lawyers just filed with the court, pleading their case to win his freedom on a $50 million bail. Inside the papers, Diddy's lawyers insist he is not a flight risk, calling him one of the most recognizable people on earth. His attorneys revealed he paid off the $18 million he owed on his $48 million South Florida mansion in August, 2 weeks before his arrest, so it could be used for collateral. They insist if Combs is allowed out before trial, a third-party security force would monitor him 24/7 by GPS, with video cameras on him the entire time if necessary. He would also have no access to phones or the internet. 2 other judges have already denied Diddy's release. His appearance before a judge is the latest high-stakes, high-dollar legal maneuver. It comes after dozens of new accusers made disturbing new accusations and after the government announced its jaw-dropping allegations against him.
The freak-off sometimes lasted days at a time.
Let me paint you a picture of MDC Brooklyn, and trust me, it's not pretty. This isn't some country club prison, honey. Federal judges themselves have called it inhumane. We're talking decades of scandals, overcrowding that would make a sardine can look spacious, violence that would make a horror movie look tame, and conditions so unsanitary they'd make your skin crawl. Even the toughest criminals struggle to make it through.
But the conditions of the prison are far from homey, notoriously described as, quote, dreadful, as one judge put it. Some on the bench have even moved away from sending non-violent defendants there. In April, a group of detainees that prosecutors said were MS-13 gang members in court documents stabbed an inmate 44 times in an attack caught on camera. 2 shivs were recovered from the attack. You see them here. The victim survived. And in the last 3 years alone, 4 inmates have died by suicide. And violence is not the only issue. Accusations of medical neglect, staffing shortages, smuggling of drugs, some allegedly facilitated by employees.
I've had clients describe MDC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
Lance A. Clark is a federal defense attorney who's been there many times.
Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
The prison has about 1,200 detainees and is the only federal prison in the nation's largest city. The DOJ shut down New York City's other federal jail, the Metropolitan Correctional Center, back in 2021, 2 years after Jeffrey Epstein died by there.
The facility has housed everyone from drug lords to white-collar criminals.
And now imagine our Sean Diddy Combs in this nightmare. For someone who's used to having private chefs at his beck and call and living in gated mansions that look like small countries, this transition has been absolutely devastating.
I want to ask you about refusing meals. Diddy is apparently refusing meals. I don't know if it's all of them, but he's refusing some of them, and he's been reportedly looking a lot thinner. Why would that be?
Maybe he doesn't like the cuisine, or maybe now that he's actually in a dormitory unit, he's not living in his cell. Well, he's living in the cell, but he's not in there all day long. Now he can buy items at the commissary, and because of that, he may be making his own food. He probably has access to a microwave oven, or maybe like boiling hot water, and they make burritos and different things. He doesn't want to eat the prison food, I suppose, because he's scared somebody's going to put something in it. I've said this before. That's the way to get to this guy. Poison his food, turn him off like a light switch, and he can't testify against anyone.
Picture this. Inmates packed like sardines in dormitory-style cells, darling. These spaces were designed for half the number of people crammed in there. The food? Let's just say it would make airline meals look like Michelin star cuisine. And medical care? Practically non-existing. One judge called it a petri dish of violence. And honey, that's not the kind of culture anyone wants to grow.
For more about what things are like there at MDC, Justin Paperny joins me now. He's a prison consultant who served more than a year in federal prison for investor fraud and conspiracy, and also the founder of the firm White Collar Advice. Good to have you with us. I mean, this is, my colleague Kara Scannell has also done some reporting on this. To say it doesn't have a great reputation, maybe putting it mildly at this point. There have been a number of issues and concerns about this jail. What is it like inside?
Well, it's so bad. There's an interagency operation taking place right now to investigate all of the problems. In New York, it's understaffed. It can be difficult to get people to work there, together with the violence and with the Bureau of Prisons not wanting any risk. They're going to confine him 24 hours a day. I can tell you, my partner served 26 years in prison, including 8 years in the penitentiary and 1 full year in the hole. He said after he got out of the hole, life was measurably easier. So it's difficult and the hardest part of the experience, going through detention and just serving so much time in segregation.
From the moment Diddy stepped foot in MDC Brooklyn, he might as well have had a target painted on his back. You see, sweeties, being a high-profile inmate is like wearing diamonds in a shark tank, and Diddy's larger-than-life persona and astronomical wealth made him the shiniest diamond of all.
You laid out a couple of different reasons why someone would be in that specific unit. And I'm wondering about Diddy specifically. Do you think it's all of those things you listed, in addition to his high-profile name, his celeb name, but possibly that if he was transferred to general population, that he would be in immediate danger, that somebody would attack him or even try to kill him?
No, I wouldn't, so to speak, think that he would be in immediate danger, but due to the high-profile nature of his case, and again, the different discoveries and all the other information that may come with it, you don't want to take that risk. So at some point, he may be able to go to a general population unit. And I can tell you, it'll probably be more of a specialized general population unit with, based on the type of crimes that he is charged with, he would probably be housed with those type of individuals at that point when they deem it necessary, or they can honestly feel like that he could be safe in that environment. So at some point he may be able to go to a specialized general population unit, but I'll tell you, because there's so much fluidity with this case and all the different allegations, which align with someone like a Ghislaine Maxwell. And then of course the agency learned some really tough lessons after the Mr. Epstein at MCC New York.
The gossip mill started churning immediately with stories of confrontations and the whispers about a brutal altercation that left our former hip-hop king fearing for his life are absolutely chilling.
According to a report from the Daily Mail, that's why Diddy had a breakdown. A person close to him apparently said, quote, "Spending the holidays behind bars was a nightmare for him." If we're to believe all this, Diddy had a meltdown in his cell and begged the guards to take him to the hospital for observation, but they refused. This same friend or person told the Daily Mail, quote,
He eventually managed to calm himself down with the meditation technique he's been using while he's been behind bars. It took him a few hours of deep breathing and focusing to get out of the bad space he was in, but he finally managed it. This isn't the first time Diddy's mental health has come into question while he's been at MDC. When he first arrived, he was on watch, which the U.S. Department of Justice National Institute of Corrections describes as supervisory precautions taken for inmates that require frequent observation. Diddy's watch was only temporary, though. He was housed in a special protective unit of the jail after that for the first few weeks of his stay. But Diddy right now is in Gen Pop, meaning general population, the place where majority of the inmates stay. And that's where he apparently had this meltdown over the holidays, at least according to one source.
In this concrete jungle, survival depends on alliances and respect, darling. But when you're as famous as Diddy, that status that once opened every door in Hollywood might just be the very thing that gets them slammed in your face.
When you talk about what we normally call special housing unit, so there's two types of detention in terms of being in special housing. One is administrative detention, and I'll go back to that point here in a second, and then disciplinary segregation. Disciplinary segregation is for individuals who have been went through a disciplinary process for an infraction of the rules and regulations of the institution, whether it be in a fight or any other acts that go against the policies of the institution, the orderly and safe running of the institution, and that is for a specific period of time. What Mr. Combs may be in as far as administrative detention is when someone is under investigation for a possible infraction against the rules of the institution, or they could be in protective custody because they may fear of their life, which is a question probably would have been asked of him once he was in his intake process. Additionally, we're talking about someone who was high profile, who was just arrested here less than 3 weeks ago. So in terms of who are the other inmates in the institution that may or may not be someone who could be a threat towards him, in terms of the possible alleged victims, could they have ties to the victims, in terms of his discovery that he's going to need to look at with his attorney. Inmates are allowed to have certain amount of legal materials in their cell, and all this alleged discovery that he's going to have to go through. You don't want to have other inmates having access to his cell to go in and take a look at that discovery, because there's a certain amount of legal materials that each inmate is allowed to have in their cell. So there's several factors that come into play when it comes to administrative detention. And more than likely, the agency has the rights and duties and privileges as holding persons under the custody of the U.S. Attorney General to run a safe and humane institution, and whatever is necessary to be done to maintain the safety of the facility and those in their custody and care, they will do that.
As the clock ticked by, the tea got even hotter. Reports started flooding in about Diddy's psychological state crumbling like a house of cards. Sources say he had a complete meltdown, begging for medical help as the harsh reality of prison life came crashing down around him.
Okay, I saw an article that said that allegedly Diddy had what they said was Diddy had a massive meltdown in jail on December 26th due to him in disbelief that he's still there during the holidays, even though his lawyers withdrew the request for bail. I sent you the article. Did you have any thoughts or opinions on this? And if so, do you feel like it's true, or do you feel like it could be something exaggerated?
Well, holiday season and stuff like that for dudes in jail is a hard time. They say rates go up during this time of the year, and so the holiday times, people get emotional. You want to be around family and do things. See, that's how I am with holiday time. See, I'm loved around the holiday times. Look at all the cards that people took time to send me and my family during the holiday season, right? So I'm big on holiday times as well, about being with family, because I'm more into family and time with people and all of that now. And so I think that's how Diddy was used to being with his family, I guess. I don't know. Or it appears he seemed to have a tight knit with his his kids, which is one thing I do commend about him is, we do have pictures of him with his kids. I can think of some other executives that don't have any pictures with their kids. And you don't see pictures with their kids as a group.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. The man who once commanded stages and boardrooms like a king now looks like nothing more than a shadow of his former fabulous self.
Well, Andy, everything so far is going very smoothly, but you can be sure that's going to change in the months ahead as they get close to that May trial date. But Sean Diddy Combs got a break today from the dismal lockdown atmosphere of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn by appearing here in federal court for this pretrial hearing in his federal sex RICO case. Now, he won't be going home for the holidays. He's been denied bail 3 times. That didn't stop him from hugging every single member of his legal team. Now, let me show you some of the video from today. His son, Christian Combs, who he's very close to and actually created music and some hit songs with, known professionally as King Combs, was once again at the federal court to support his dad, flying in from Los Angeles to let his father know he was still in his corner and to show everyone that he was standing by him. Coming into the courtroom, the disgraced music mogul, Diddy looked a little rough around the edges compared to how he usually has been looking in these court appearances. His hair longer than normal, his tan prison shirt wrinkled, his face looked like he'd lost weight. But as soon as he turned around and saw his son in the audience with his friends, he broke into a big smile, sent him a heart and a kiss.
Whatever happens next in this absolutely shocking saga, one thing's crystal clear. This story is going down in the history books. And for Diddy, the man who once had the world eating from the palm of his hand, the stakes couldn't possibly be higher. If this juicy deep dive left you
I need y'all to comment. What do y'all think about this? It's so much going on. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe here at The Messy Sweets.